chances that I missed. Some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist. I wonder what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
That's what we're going to be looking into this morning. Bill Jones is on his way in. He'll be here in just a moment. We've got Bill coming in this morning. Haven't had a chance to talk to him in a while. And we've been fortunate that we've had a lot of guests here in town that have come on to share stuff, especially right in the middle of the Christmas season. We're so busy. So, we've had a lot going on to cover. But Bill is so gracious. He lives just over the hill, and I can usually call him and say, hey, I got an opening. And I've been very intentionally trying to save a spot for him because, I kind of wanted to see if he can kind of give us a little insight into what we might have on the horizon weather-wise, because, he was one of the weather people during the time he was in the military, Vietnam era. And so he's, and he is our ham radio authority that does all the certification. He stays up to date on all that stuff. And so he is a real good one just to kind of, talk to about it. The bottom line is you can never really know for sure what's going on. But now that I'm a teacher, I love snow days. You know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of fun getting that extra. I honestly and truthfully, last year when we got out for snow, I was like a kid. It's one of those things. And we were talking with Dr. Weeks the other day, and him being in administration, of course, he has the stress of having to make sure that, trying to keep everybody happy when you have snow days. Because it's hard if you're a parent and you're counting on kids being able to go to school because you got to get to work and those kinds of things. I never really had to experience that because when I was doing traffic full time, I had a studio in my house. And so if the kids were home, they were just there. And so it worked out really well. And so I got to be a full-time employee, but I still got to be with my kids. So I had the best of both worlds. It was wonderful. But I didn't get to really enjoy snow days when my kids were younger because when you're a traffic reporter and it's snowing, there's a lot. If we had snow coming in, I would be up extra early trying to cover the roads and give people some heads up about what's going on. And some of the wildest times I would be whenever in the middle of the day that snow would move in Nashville, and people didn't really realize what was going to happen, and things would just turn to glass. And I can remember one time years and years ago that it got so bad, people were just abandoning their cars on the side of the road. I've heard comedians make jokes about that in the South, that people will just leave their cars. They really will. They will literally leave their car on the side of the road and just walk. And of course, that's a problem when they're trying to come in and plow because the cars are in the way. So it's just, it can be comical. It can be, very risky too in this area when the roads turn bad. So with Bill kind of having a better idea about that. I thought it'd be kind of fun to get his insight, and I don't know what he'll bring to the table today. He'll be here in just a minute. I've got to be careful when I text people about times to come in. I'm real bad. I'll put 7 dash to 7:30. And in there, when they're reading it, all they see is the 7:30, and they don't see that it was 7. So you know how you have to be really sure that you clarify what you're sending somebody, and that communications thing. I only have, that's my degree. I'm only an expert in communications. It's not necessarily what I do, right? But that's okay. Anyway, he'll be in here in a minute. I'm anticipating, of course, Brian and Elizabeth coming in here for United Way here shortly, and we will see if they make it in this morning. But we had Ace Timmermeyer in here last week with United Way, and that was a lot of fun getting to revisit with her because, I mean, she's done full circle. She was with United Way and then went over to work with the city for a while. And then she has circled back around now and is back with United Way. So it was really fun visiting with her. But there's so much going on, guys, around town that we just want to kind of remind you as we're waiting for Bill to walk on in here that you've got the Winter Wonderland. I was trying to think how we call it, but Winter Wonderland is a free Christmas program where you can come in and walk through the lights. Saturday will be your last chance just to walk through the lights. And as we're looking at the weather forecast, there's some rain in the forecast. Maybe we won't get it. This past Saturday was just an absolutely beautiful night. I was a little under the weather, so I was unable to get out and really enjoy that, and that was a bummer. But, it's just that time of the year. We got all kinds of stuff. So I've been fighting all these bugs these last week. So I had to miss the parade and the Winter Wonderland walkthrough, but you got another chance Saturday night to walk through Winter Wonderland, and you can always drive through it. And, a lot of these Christmas things where they have them all set up, you have to pay quite a bit of money to bring your car through. So I think it's pretty cool that we have one that's just a gift. It's just an absolute gift to the to the city, to the county, and just can't say enough about it. But anyway, so as we wait for Bill to come on in here, and again, Brian and Catherine, I said Elizabeth while knowing I knew that was wrong, but Catherine is coming in possibly with United Way this morning. We love touching base with them because they are the they are the bridge builders to the nonprofits, we like to call them. I had some of my students a couple of days ago. They need volunteer hours for the Tennessee Promise. The Tennessee Promise, the way it works, you have to keep a certain GPA, but you also have to log some volunteer hours. So all my kiddos are coming, Miss Vivio, where can I volunteer? And I told them, I said, call United Way, and they will give you all the different possibilities and things that you can't wait until the last minute. I know that whenever Tiffany Thompson was in that position, she said that sometimes she would get those phone calls from parents going, my kids need 20 volunteer hours in the next 24 hours, those kinds of things. You can't do that. You can't wait till the last minute. But United Way is a great way to link up and say, what's going on? Where can my kids volunteer? One of my favorite ones to point them to is the Humane Society, because every time I've ever been out there, they say they just don't have enough people to come out and spend time with those animals. You've got these animals that are in pens, and it'll just rip your heart out. Really, you want to take them all home. I can't hardly go out there. I want to bring a puppy or a kitty cat home with me. But they always need people to come in and walk the animals and just love on them and just kind of help with the feeding and the cleaning and all the things going on at the Humane Society. So they go, because they don't have a big staff out there, and that's a lot to take care of all those animals. So that's one I can point you to, usually looking for volunteers. Now, right here with the crunch, if there's probably a deadline right now saying, okay, you got to get your volunteer hours in by this certain date with Tennessee Promise, because I've heard from so many students in the last week about, Ms. Vivio, do you know where we can volunteer? So I point you to United Way. They can help you out. But you have all these wonderful things going on. There's so many wonderful programs, too, going on in churches around town. We've visited, of course, with South Haven. They've got a lot of stuff coming on. Flu Ellen's got all kinds of programs. Pretty much any church you show up at this weekend, you're going to find something cool going on with the Christmas season. And so I just really encourage you to get out. And if it's really funny. This is one of those things. If you grew up in the Church of Christ, okay, This is something that we talk about, and those of you who did not grow up in the Church of Christ, y'all just think you're like, really? That was a thing, and it's still a thing for some of the more conservative CSCs. But whenever I was a kiddo, we were not allowed to talk about Christ's birth at Christmas. I know, crazy, right? But and the reason why, as I said, from the verses in Revelation, you don't add to or take from the word. And so we're not told to have, so come on in here, Bill. We're not told to have a celebration about Christ's birth, and so we're not supposed to do that. So we weren't allowed to do that. My daddy was a song leader, beautiful tenor voice. I can't imagine what he sounds like in heaven. But he would sing Silent Night and all that in July, but he wouldn't sing it in December. But nonetheless, we kind of have grown beyond that because we read scripture. It says, never miss an opportunity to share to give people the reason for the hope that you have. And what better reason when people are coming into churches sometimes for the first time at Christmas. You don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about the birth of Christ because that's what they're wanting to hear, and then to say why he came. So, hi, Bill.
Hello.
Did you look at your text? And I have a really bad habit.
I didn't look.
I have a bad habit of putting a 7 and then a dash 7:30. You're not the first person that's done that. Because I've done that because I'm really bad because I'm always in a rush, but I've got to remember to put 7, semicolon 00 through 7:30. And
yeah, I see.
You see what
7.
I'm saying? And people see that 7:30, and that's what pops out. And I'm serious. That's happened more than once to other people. So do
My
not.
mind, though, I get tunnel vision on certain things.
Too.
I forget everything. I'm
too.
the older age, and
Well, me too. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Me too. Have you had any more joints replaced? We've had the knees.
No, I tell you what, I lost 20 pounds. My other knee doesn't hurt anymore.
Oh, God bless you. So you're not going to do it?
No,
Right now?
why should I?
Well, good for you.
The doctors never tell you all of it. If they told you all the whole thing, you wouldn't probably do it. But
I thought you looked then.
and I did shoulder same way. I've been doing therapy on my shoulder, so I'm not going to replace that.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm
So
about to hit
I'm doing great.
I'm about to hit a shoulder replacement or something, or because I've got a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah.
So that
Me
I've
too.
had for years.
They were going to do a reverse replacement on mine, but
So I don't know.
I went to
I'm looking forward to it.
therapy guy, and he's really good. But anyway, they showed me a lot of exercise doing. I've been going to Y and doing the exercises, and it's just my shoulder's gotten a lot better and a lot more movement.
Well, I need to talk to, I've got Bethany Tees Dr. Bethany Tees is my therapist up here at Star.
Yeah.
And she's been talking to me about getting a series of things for my shoulder before I have the surgery.
Yeah.
And I've actually got an appointment
really
with
the
my
best thing to
doctor today to talk about some specifics because I'm just dreading having the shoulder done. And but
There's no pain in it.
Huh?
No pain to it.
What do you mean?
You don't have any pain with a shoulder replacement.
You're being sarcastic.
No, I'm not. I've had it done once before. I had a repair on it back 20 years ago, but now I started. The way I do things, I research. I talk to a lot of people that just had it done, and what they do, they put a little line in there during the operation. It puts Novocaine or whatever, some kind of cane, painkiller in there. You don't have any pain, and then they take it out in about 2 weeks, and it's not a big deal to do. And you go back and take it out, and then you're in a sling for maybe a month, 6 weeks, and back to driving and all that. But everybody I've talked to says absolutely no pain.
Really?
But you got to do the therapy. You got to do that. And if you don't, you're going to, it'll freeze up on you.
Well, see, and that's the thing. My mother had a frozen shoulder. And I don't want to see that happen. But I've got a meeting with my doctor. I don't want to talk about all that. I just want to see how you're doing. Did you bring something specific? I would love to know what you're thinking about our weather forecast for the winter. Are we looking at a difficult winter? What are you thinking? Just kind of touch on that before we get to
the weather. I've missed it a lot lately. I don't know. It's just everything is. I'm getting sort of disappointed in myself.
Oh no!
Because what I put on there, it doesn't happen, and I thought it's just not. Something's real screwy about the weather. I know it starts over in the Pacific Ocean with El Nino and all that stuff, but the jet stream is different. It's dropped down. It's been a wild season so far. It's been cold and it's supposed to be hot and vice versa. Rest of this week we're getting rain, which we needed rain, but this week, next week is rain in the forecast and
rather mild,
fairly mild temperatures in the 50s, and all that. That's there's some rough stuff coming out from up north. It's fixing to hit up there, so doesn't look good in some places, and it's really unusual, unpredictable right now. Whatever anybody was telling you, it'll change on a dime.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's so hard to pinpoint.
It is.
And so as I was talking about, whenever I first signed on, I just love snow days now because I'm a teacher. I'm like a little kid. Because when I was doing traffic full time, I didn't get to enjoy it. It was a lot of work and it was a lot of stress. And so even with my kids, I would be in trying to deal with traffic and they'd be out playing in the snow and I'd want to be out there with them.
Yeah.
And I was doing traffic. And so I love snow days now. But
what I've seen lately that never before, people want to be in weather forecast, on television. They will like that. And these guys that do the TV forecasting, they're really good. They're actors. They have to look smiley and happy every day, even though they're not particularly that way today, or a certain day.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
And it's amazing how well they do. They do really well, and they have, they might put out a forecast and an hour later it's different. Yeah. So they have to change, and then they get the blame, all that. But really, weather forecasting, there's a lot of new science out there on it. I get it all the time, and it's just amazing what they've come up with. But really, they really still miss it. It just happens. It's just. But anyway, it's getting better and better.
The thing
forecasting, if you look for a 3-day, it's pretty well accurate. But if you're looking out for 7-8 days, it's not going to be accurate. The thing that
blows my mind is when the forecasters can tell you the tornado's coming down your street. Those things.
That's, used to not have that.
Yeah, and I just, we just. That's incredible.
Well, that last one we had went through Springfield.
Right.
I walked out my front yard. I was watching the radar and everything. I walked out in the front yard and I thought, it is totally calm, and it was warm. And I thought, this is not good. There's a tornado somewhere because what it does, the warm air is coming across the ground and going up. You're not going to have any straight winds in a tornado. It does that. And when it gets calm like that, you better get in the house and go to the basement. So I called my neighbors. I said, get over here. We're going to the basement. And then it came through the other side of Springfield from where I was. So you have to move pretty quickly. Tornadoes can happen very fast.
Well, is that the one that took out Holman?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Holman's back open.
They are open.
Yeah. I reached out to Brian. I was like, why don't you come on? And he's like, I'm just too busy. Short season. I'm just, but
I can understand that.
I just think that's wonderful that they put their business back. And
I do too.
They're my jeweler. They always have been. We've got great jewelers in town. I know White's gave them space to come in and work in the back. I thought that was wonderful. They did that.
Yeah.
I met the Holmans early.
Yeah, I
don't do a lot of jewelry, so they take care of.
I heard about that. That was really good.
I thought that was really cool.
What is nice about a hometown that people will help other people.
Yes, I thought that was
and we've always been like that in retail. We help each other.
Yeah.
And people coming here from other places, it's hard for them to believe that.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. I hope we don't lose our hometown atmosphere.
I know.
Like that. Yeah. It's just, it's just great that one jewelry store will help another one.
I thought that was really cool.
Normally, in a big city, they just
competition.
Eat you.
Yeah, exactly.
Alive.
Yeah. So this.
We have a really nice town.
But I got to stop in and see them and just say, yay. I just don't want to give them. I've got things I need done, but I'm like, I can wait. We can wait until January after. I'm
going to walk in there and just look around, walk back.
Yeah, exactly, and just say, hey, way to go.
Yeah.
Glad you're back. But I know Celeste retired.
Those people, Holmans have been around here for years. They had a little place uptown, Holman Jewelers. And when I was a teenager, they had an upstairs, and we'd go up there and play records. They sold records.
Oh, how fun.
And we would go up there and play records and dance and all that, and buy records. And it was it was a real neat place. And like I say, it's been around here a long time.
When I got here,
I love those kind of businesses.
They were in the plaza over there behind Bank of America, and that's where I've always gone. That's where they were when I first found them. And of course, then I've loved their new store. And when that tornado came, I was so worried about them, that because I saw that and I was like, oh no.
Well,
And
it just
a
hurt me
miracle.
to
It was
think
a
somebody's going
miracle.
out of business,
Yeah,
just because of that.
Yeah, but I'm so thrilled that they're back. So Holman's is back, and thank you, Watch Jewelers, for the kindness that you showed
Yeah,
to them.
yeah,
and,
great.
and
That's
wonderful, just both
a
wonderful.
lot of good things to say about
Wonderful
them.
families right there, both of them. But you've got something you brought. What did
Well,
you bring with you
I
before?
just grabbed it real quick because it's what I taught last
Yeah,
night
yeah.
at
Okay.
church. I want to say something. I was talking to a guy as I was walking in church last night, and I said, um, a lady gave me an envelope today to bring here, and she doesn't even go to church here, not a member here, and it was a nice check.
Wow.
And I said, there's two things I've been thinking about that you don't see the results of so many times, but God tells us to do it, and that is prayer and giving.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you give to something, you don't see the results.
Right.
You just have to have faith that they're handling it
Yeah,
properly.
yeah.
Same way with prayer. A lot of times you pray because God said, do it. And Jesus Christ gave us an example of how to pray. And we just do it, but we're not guaranteed we're going to see the outcome of it because it's like giving, into an organization. They're going to use it for the best results, and God uses our prayers for his best results so that we're praying and things happen we don't even see. And things break loose and we just have to have faith to keep on doing what he said do and be faithful to that. Prayer doesn't cost you anything, so it's sort of unique that there's two things there that sometimes people get hung out with the idea that I don't see them doing anything. I don't know what they're doing with my money. I don't see any prayers being answered that I'm praying to God, so why pray, but there's always, it's an undercurrent thing. It produces, both of them produce things. So don't feel bad about praying and not seeing results because it's getting results somewhere.
And it may be 100 years from now.
You remember
that's one thing people don't realize.
in the Old Testament, I can't remember names, but someone was praying. It was Daniel, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the angel said he would delay. He said, we heard your prayer the first day, but it took them, the angel was impeded by a devil angel, devil spirit.
Yeah.
For a week or something like that. And I thought that's a good example because we don't know what's going on up there. There's a spiritual battle going on all the time, all around us. We don't see it. That doesn't mean it's not true. And there you go, a good example of that. And I keep thinking about that over and over every time I pray. I say, I want to continue. I don't want to stop. Don't want to let up. I just want to get better at praying. And I practice. I use words I didn't use before and just trying to rejuvenate myself. And I told them last night, I taught a lesson last night at church in our Bible study. I said, you all are going to hear different things from me because I'm coming from a different angle than you've heard before. And what is happening when I teach you these things, you're going to perk up and go, oh, I didn't know that, da-da-da. I said, then you get excited about learning the Word of God, where before, if you hear the same old thing over and over, you get sort of dull to it. And I said, I'm going to bring you the same thing, but I'm bringing it to you from a different angle. I use a lot of Greek and Hebrew words and explain and that type of thing.
I would enjoy your Bible class.
And
I know I would.
I just, I love doing it, but I'm not doing it for me. That's, I don't need any more popularity. I'm doing it because I want people to understand the excitement in the Word of God. It is exciting. And it is, for me, I learn something every time I read, and it's hard to put down. And so at my age, I don't sleep well at night, so I'm up reading, studying the Bible. And I can understand why some people can't understand that because they don't know anything new. They haven't been told anything. It's the same old, same old. And a lot of that, and I say truth versus tradition. A lot of it's tradition. And I went through the Christmas story last night, traditional, and then I said, let's read it from the Bible, and it's different. And they said, well, how could that be? I said, well, tradition has made it what it is, They said there was 3 wise men. They didn't say that in the Bible, and so on like that. And I could go on in a lot of stuff I taught, but I'd have to do a lot of explanation. We ain't got about 5 minutes left.
Well, it depends. I honestly, truthfully, as far as Brian and Catherine, sometimes they don't make it in, and we miscommunicate, so they may or may not be here. Who knows? And if just Brian comes in, you can just hang out, and we'll just all talk. Because I know they don't really have a lot going on with United Way right now, because it's kind of that lull. They're just kind of getting geared up for the rest of the year.
I see more excitement this year for Christmas than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing things for other people. That's a lot of it. I mean, every time I turn on the internet or something, it's something going on, and that's good. I can't attend everything, but I'd love to, but I can't. And it's good that people are helping other people and relating, and they're getting into Christmas, the real remembrance of what Christmas is about. And it's really neat to see that people are getting interested and exciting, and they are giving, and you will get back when you give. That's no doubt in my mind. I would never stop giving, because I realize in my age, an older age, what it has done for me. It has been a tremendous help for me to be a giver, and I just don't see in the Bible where it's taught about tithing in the New Testament. And I said that to some people at church, and they but it doesn't. It talks about giving from the heart. Yeah. And we need to do things from the heart. Do for people, not because we get some recognition, but do it out of our heart, out of what we love people and want to help them, get on a better level. And when you're operating from the heart, instead of a rule or a law about, well, I got to check out 10%. Is it going to be my gross or my net? That you're missing the whole point of giving. And give without anybody knowing it. Just keep it under wraps, and just do things for people, and don't tell them where it came from. And it's a great blessing to do that. If you haven't done that before, you ought to do it. It'll change your heart. It'll change your whole attitude about people and about things. And there are devilish people in the world. There are bad things going on. But if we as Christians operate from the heart, it's going to change things. And it is changing things now. And to me, I have a lot of ideas that's opposite from what people think. I was thinking this morning, churches, they shouldn't get big. They should split. And a big church, you can't get blessed hardly, as an individual, because people don't want to speak out in a large congregation. They don't want to speak out in a large Sunday school class. They're afraid of what people think, because you have every kind of person in a Sunday school class, a beginner, one is seasoned and all. Right. And in a smaller group, and that's why I like about home studies, Bible studies at home. People can ask questions, and they have questions. It's genuine, You think, well, I thought everybody knew that. No, they don't. Yeah. And so you want to make it where people feel comfortable, and you don't do that in a large church. Every church, I think, needs to split up, because a large church, all it does is amplify the minister and amplify them when it's supposed to be about Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I never thought of it in that way.
When you keep it in a small group and people have needs and wants, and you have to teach them your needs and wants need to be parallel. You can't have more needs and wants and more wants and needs. Right. They have to run smoothly together. And you do that by studying God's Word and finding out, what does He want? Not what I want or somebody else, but what does He want us to do? And the Bible is like, to me, a will. My dad died and left a will. Well, if I couldn't understand it, what good is it? So a will, you read it and you understand it and you do it. And Bible is the same way. When you get it explained to you in a more perfect way than what you hear and you don't understand, then you go, oh, yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense. It all makes sense once you get it rightly divided. And it says, rightly divide the truth. And that's what we're to do. And if you can't do it, find somebody else that can. Right. And support that group that helps you. And I see, little church I go to, it's not got a lot of money or anything, but there is a spirit there that's just fantastic. I love people coming up and telling me, what you said just turned it around for me. And I thought, man, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was the Holy Spirit within me saying those things. I didn't know I was going to say it. And I love that kind of thing because I feel like I'm part of the end times, which if the end of the train is coming, I want to be there, So I want to be part of it. I want to be able to ones who speak the truth instead of tradition. And then I know I get people mad at me, and I know people don't like that sometimes, but I don't have any other way to go. If I have told God I wanted to bless people with his word and explain it, then I expect him to do that. And then I can't get all mousy about it when somebody gets mad at me or tells me I'm some kind of a hypocrite or something. I'm speaking what God tells me to speak. And that is such a blessing. I got up Sunday morning in church, and we have a period, a time. This is word of thought, and they ask different people to get up and speak, one every Sunday about something little, just 2 or 3 minutes. I went 15 to 20.
Uh-oh.
I cut into the preacher's message. But the funny thing about it, I talked to him last night. It all worked together. The person reading the scripture, what I said, what the pastor said, it all blended together. And I said, God's behind all of that.
Of course.
When it all fits together, and I knew I could look out over the audience and see people nodding and smiling, and I knew I was getting across. I know he was too. And it just worked so perfectly. I hated to leave. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, and I could tell going out the door, people speaking, they had a different attitude. It's just so neat to be able to participate and be part of this end times, I call it, of me anyway. I'm 80, so not much left to go there, but it's just so exciting to be part of it instead of the same old sit in the pew, sing 3 songs, and give a tithe and go home. It's not meant to be that way.
No, it's not.
And we have done that through tradition. And it's time we sat down and said, I want to be a blessing for God and not for me or anybody else. It's time we all see that and see that what is the peace that passes all understanding. I've been on both sides of peace. You have enough of something, you're peaceful, so-called peaceable. But you don't know about that peace that passes understanding till you get there and start trusting in what God has promised you and the words that he's given you. There's peace there that I can't explain it. It's just there. And it's a wonderful way to live.
Yes,
Whether you have cancer, whether you don't have, whether you need to live in peace. And it is possible and not be in chaos and turmoil.
Invite people to your church. I know Brian's out there, so we need to switch it out here.
I'm taking up his time.
And so, you're talking about, this is a good time. You're wanting to step into church. You're wanting to discover it. So tell them where you work.
Well, I go to North Springfield Baptist, but I don't, I'm not emphasizing church. Right. If you want to come where the excitement is, it is there. And we have every kind of person from beginner to seasoned and older people and younger people. Last night, the young kids had a hide and go seek.
Is that the church up on the hill?
Yeah, church on the hill.
That's the one that Buzzy is
right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Buzzy was in here.
Yeah.
And he's a hoot.
We had to. We ran out of people to be in a choir, so we hadn't had a choir, and sometimes hadn't had a piano player. We used recorded music, but all of a sudden, Buzzy asked people to sign up the choir. His list is full.
That's great.
We got a full, and we're going to start.
Awesome.
Now we need a piano player. We're just looking for somebody. We had a great one, and he died. But we really, if somebody wants to be blessed, if he'll come play the piano for us,
there you go.
we love it. We would love it, But
that's cool.
Like I said, I don't go around telling everybody, come to church with me. Come, North Springfield. If they see me, they'll want to know. And come, but I'm not going out and soliciting.
What time do y'all meet on Sunday?
Sunday, it's the usual times everybody else, 9:30, Sunday school, and, 11 o'clock, 10:30, get out and go into the church service, and it's usually over by 11:40 or something like that. But it's really decorated real pretty right now.
Oh, we need to stop by, but we got Brian. Brian, you can ease on in here, buddy. Is Catherine coming today?
Just making
Just you.
Just
Come
me.
on in, and we'll make.
I won't let this gentleman keep preaching.
Just come on in here and sit down. I told him, I said, you know what? I said, if Catherine's not here, I said, maybe we'll just all hang out together because I know there's not a lot going on. Y'all are in the big thing is y'all are trying to get the groups together to evaluate all those that are going to be partners with United Way. That's y'all's big thing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in I think it's Friday is the deadline for our partner agencies. We do this as the funding cycle where they put in their funding applications and everything is reviewed. And then we need local people here in Robertson County.
That would be a good one.
There you go. That's I'm going to recruit you to sit in and go through this process with us. And that's reviewing applications, maybe making some site visits, and then conducting the interviews with our partner agencies that have applied to make sure that, one, the funding is being applied in the most direct way possible so it serves the community that it's intended to, and two, that there's no overlap with some of our services, and that it fits the United Way's mission as well as what we're trying to do as far as impacting the community with those funds. And so if you've ever wanted to get an really in-depth look at the nonprofit community here where you live, this is the best way to do it, because I think we just about every nonprofit that's in this area, and we have a few that don't apply for funding, but you're getting 90% of it here. And so you'll get to go through it in really, really detailed way as far as what they're doing. I will say I've been through the process. I did it my first year here. It is not that big of a lift. I'm saying it's detailed, but it's not that big of a heavy lift. It's reviewing some paperwork. It's talking to some folks. It's maybe going on site and seeing what they do, and then making those recommendations. And then those go directly to our main board that serves the 9-county footprint. They've never, to my knowledge, rejected any of the local advisory committee's recommendations because they'll be guided by Catherine and Eddie. So, but I think it's great. It was one of when I was thinking about taking this job, it was one of the selling points to me because I love the idea of local people volunteering and deciding where that money goes. So you're all right.
I had it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. You would think a radio veteran such as yourself.
No better.
I'm just playing.
No, seriously
playing.
though.
I'm just playing. So we're looking for volunteers. If you're interested, you can stop by our office at 100 Main Street up there. We're around the corner of 5th and Main in the 4-H building. We're in the basement side. You can call me 615-780-2401, 615-780-2401. Or you can email me, Brian, BRIAN Pulley, PULLEY at UnitedWayGN, as in GreaterNashville.org. BRIAN.PULLEY at UnitedWayGN.org. LaVern has trained me.
Yeah, he's got it down. He knows. Do it again, do it again.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to mention on that while we're on that subject. I mean, we're talking a lot of dollars that you help distribute.
Yeah, and they'll decide how that it's thousands of dollars that one a lot of companies, individual donors, it is hard-earned money that has been donated. We take it extremely serious how this money's allocated. And so I want to stress that my job when I go out and talk to companies, I talk to individual donors, where does the dollars go? I can say we are putting it in the best hands possible to make sure it's being applied directly so that when you give $1 to us, it is being vetted thoroughly and that we are making every effort to make sure it's applied properly. People ask me too, it's like, well, how much of every dollar goes to, directly back to, the community? United Way worldwide operates at about 88-89% of every dollar, which is a very high number for a nonprofit. I think locally we're up to 92 cents on a dollar, which you come by our office, there's not a lot of frills going on. We're making sure we're applying it properly. So, but on top of that, and I can't quantify this, but your dollar actually is more than $1 because of the grant writers that we have, the folks that we have working for us that bring in additional funds to the community that are not part of donated dollars. And so that is where the impact is greater from being under the larger umbrella. And I'm talking about services like the Family Collective here that serves locally. That's a grant funded program. We have Raise Your Hand, VITA. A lot of these programs have grant dollars tied to them. If Ace or Catherine were here, they could explain that a lot better than I can. That's their world. But when you give $1, know that it's being cared for in the best way possible. And we want to make sure that it has the biggest impact that we can on this community to serve this community, not just this community, but our 9-county footprint. But as it pertains to Springfield here, we work very hard to make sure that money's going to the right place.
So did he convince you, Bill? You want to be one of the
Well,
community?
I tell you what.
One of the ones that vet this?
I tell you what, nowadays I notice there's a lot of people coming up with names, so and so for children, so and so for children. Don't know where it goes, don't know who they are.
That's why
United Way's always been there, always done their job. If you don't have any, you want to give, and you don't know where to give, they know.
Yeah.
And being a businessman, I used to be a businessman, retired. I like profit. I want to see things make a profit, not necessarily money-wise, but you want something to produce what you have. If you can take $1 and make it into $2, I love that.
Yeah.
And like he was saying, you pay people, grant writers, all to get. All these grants are all out there. You just have to have somebody to write it,
knows how to
and
do
you
it.
get it. So that is so neat to do it like that. It's not like handing $1 and then 20% goes to the needy and 80% goes to you hand out to people on the street corner that they're collecting for so and so. I don't know anything about them. I'm not going to do that. But to United Way or organizations like that in churches, your money's going somewhere that's going to be profitable to somebody. And like he said, it's all local. Some of them are not so local. And I don't want to name names, but we all know some big organization that's not
there's
too
a few
local.
that come to mind,
So
but,
it's always been around. It's always done good, and it's been people blessed, and that's the bottom line: blessing people locally. I don't want to send $1 billion overseas to some. I want to send them to North Carolina and they're not doing that now. They're not helping those people. I want to help people locally. Why send your money Timbuktu when they need it right here? And that's the way I see it.
Oh no, and I mean, just like I've been able to, I've had all the stuff that's come through from my mom and dad's, and I've been able to take a lot of stuff to Cope because I know of the work that they do.
Yeah.
And that's a thrift store that I can take and donate all my mom's birds to.
That's the one thing about a small town.
Yeah,
Everybody's helping each other.
And the money
And
that
then
they raise helps.
They know how to
pay
do it.
bills.
They know how
That's
to
what my mom and
invest.
dad would want.
That's exactly right.
That's just it. So it's cool.
Big shout out to Cope. While we just brought them up, they're a completely run volunteer organization that partners with us. They sell those items that you donate in their thrift store, and then they help people pay their bills this time of year when the weather's getting colder. People need their heat bill goes up, and they may be stretched thin. Cope will give them that help that they need to kind of get them through this period. And so we personally at home, that's where all my stuff goes. We just did a big attic clean out. I had back of my truck filled to the brim. There's a lot of kids stuff. Your kids outgrow their toys and whatever. And my kids have been blessed with some grandparents that like to spoil them. So we've got way too much excess in our house. And so, but I love the fact that we could take that over to Cope around Christmas time. One, some families are going to be able to get some nice stuff at a good price. And then two, that money is then turn around. And like he said, it's blessing others and helping them get through a time where they may have a flat tire or a car problem or whatever, and their bills piled up that month, and they just need a little extra help. And Cope is there to do that.
It's a great program. Great.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just so fulfilling to think about how we can help somebody else through United Way, through Cope, through churches. And, it's just a real good feeling that you get from doing that. You get it from anything else.
And if you've got your car full of stuff and you get to Cope and they're like, we're not taking any more donations today, come back the next day because they get overwhelmed. Just be patient with them.
They're trying.
Because they're doing good work. But that sometimes we get there a little bit late and they're like, I can't take any more today. I respect the fact that they know their limitations.
Right.
And
It's
they
a
don't
limited
really
space.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a limited space back there.
So be diligent and be patient because you can come back the next day. And donate and make sure you're doing good stuff and don't just take stuff they're going to just have.
Don't bring your trash. Bring things that they're going to sell that to somebody else. And so when you look at it, go, has this served its purpose? And you know what I mean? It's done. If so, it goes in the dumpster.
That's right.
If somebody would actually want this or use it, or it's been sitting in my closet and I can't do anything with it, but it's still in good shape. Yeah, somebody else may be a great find for them. So look at it that way.
Whenever I was working at the Benevolence Center, we'd get the calls all the time of, well, it's not in great shape, but if you don't have nothing, it's better than nothing. I'm like, no, it's not. Your dirty sofa is not better than nothing.
Right.
No.
I'd rather sit on the floor.
That's right.
And so we would have to turn things down. With working with the immigrants too, from the Egyptian immigrants, a lot of the times I'd have people say, "Oh yeah, it's better if you don't have anything," and I'd go and I'd be like, "Oh no," and I'd just leave it. I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I'm not taking that." Something.
Yeah.
I appreciate your thought, but maybe not. No,
Yeah,
take
just
it to the
be
dump.
honest about it. It's like, would you want it for yourself if somebody
Right.
gave that to you? You may not need it because you moved or your
Yeah.
kids outgrew it or whatever it was, and it's still good.
Yeah.
And there's a difference in this is trash.
Yes,
We
yes.
just did a little remodel in our house and had to get rid of stuff. And then you look at some stuff, it's like it ran its course.
Yeah.
We bought it, we used
Time to
it.
go.
It's time for that to go. Nobody else is going to want my stuff there. So anyway.
So yeah, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
This is the time everybody wants to give
Yeah.
and do something, and there's so many ways you can do it. And as I was telling my kiddos,
Mm-hmm.
that they can call United Way when they're looking for volunteer hours. Just don't
Absolutely,
do it at the
please.
last minute. Don't say I need 20 hours this
Yeah.
weekend. You got because they're all looking for Tennessee Promise volunteer hours. Right?
And we can definitely help with that. Not just here, but if on a weekend you want to go serve somewhere in the area in our 9-county footprint, we can plug you in. And also, real quick, we're partnered with Hands On Nashville, which is now just Hands On. They are part of the United Way now. They have a calendar. If you just go to Google Hands On Nashville and go to their calendar, you can go day by day. It'll have all these opportunities, how many people are needed, all that kind of stuff, what kind of work it is really. So if it's like, I'm a little limited physically, but I can sort things or whatever, or it's like, I really want to go out and do some landscaping when the weather's pretty, whatever. It'll have all that in there. You just register one time and then you can sign up and do any of that stuff. So if you're looking for volunteer hours, that is a great outlet there. Or if you're just a company looking for things or individuals or whoever, that is a great tool. So you can just Google Hands On Nashville, go to their website. They have an events calendar. It's updated daily. And they have stuff, literally multiple opportunities every day. So it's like, I can't find a place to volunteer. I do not believe you because
just gotta
there are
look.
so many opportunities. It might not be exactly what you're looking for, but you can look ahead too. They update that calendar far out. And if you want to get involved, and if that still doesn't work, just let us know.
Hands on.
Hands on. Yeah, they're hands on. They came to prominence during the flood in 10, is that because they were on the boots on the ground, and but now that they're merged with us, we took the Nashville part out because they're serving throughout the 9-county
Right.
footprint with us. We're working on getting them into every community. They are primarily based in Nashville, but they're also serving in Clarksville now. And then there are spot up opportunities. So we did the Bransford Cleanup Day out here last year.
Right.
They were a huge part of helping us corral volunteers.
Right.
We're not a volunteer like organizing
Yeah.
nonprofit. They are experts at that, and so that's why the merger made sense with
They
them.
were here during the tornado too, weren't
Yes,
they? Yeah, that's
they've
why I thought-
come
I thought
in.
Hands On came on and helped
They,
organize.
they work
volunteers.
with they set up something called VOADs in these communities and work with and basically set up a local board of folks that when a disaster strikes, they go into action. They work
Right.
with city government, and so we've met with Ryan here and are working on getting that going here. And it's something you hope you never have
Yeah.
or never need, but when it's needed, that they go into action.
That tornado was just a year ago, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
That blows my
I
mind.
know. Seems like it was a long time ago.
I
doesn't it?
know. And
Yeah.
again, coming from being from Mayfield,
Yeah.
and when you drive through Mayfield, and our tornado happened 3-4 years ago now, and to see the difference in the restoration, we're back. I mean, everything's put back now here, and it's just been a year. And like I said, last time I was in Mayfield, they still had crooked traffic lights. Now, I'm surely to goodness. I mean, when we were there for Mama's funeral, just
Yeah, right.
after Christmas last year, I mean, it's still my daughter-in-law said, she goes, it's like something out of a zombie movie
Mm-hmm.
when you drive through the downtown square of Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ugh. I mean, it seriously is. And it's just I'm so proud of our community
Yeah.
because, I'm just proud of our community.
We were extremely
See-
fortunate.
to see how well
It hit where it hit, and
Yeah.
there's a giant neighborhood right
Yeah.
by where that it
Oh
missed.
my gosh, it could have been
I grew up
devastating.
in
Oh
that
my gosh,
neighborhood that it
wow.
missed,
Yeah.
and there's houses on top of houses right there. And then hitting where it hit when the industrial park on a Saturday when
Yeah,
people are not working.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's
just a miracle.
it's a bless. But now
Yeah.
Clarksville is still digging
Oh,
out,
they're still
and
digging
so we're working. We are continue work. We just met with and got a grant down there from organization. I don't want to because it's not, everything's not official yet, but it's giving some money directly to that. It's a really big deal for us down there that's going to help with the continue rebuilding of what we're trying to do down there, because it's an ongoing process. You mentioned North Carolina and East Tennessee. People are like, when it first happens, everybody wants to help, right? And that's great. We love that. But they're just trying to dig out. Now is when they really need some help, because it's going to be a long process. And we're seeing that right here with our neighbors up in Clarksville. Okay, that was a year ago, and they're still trying to get everything going. And that was very minor, not minor for them, but minor compared to what happened in East Tennessee and North Carolina. So you can imagine the job that needs to be done up there. So there's ongoing efforts. Our United Way up in that area has been great. We funnel some funds up that way personally and through some other outlets, but it's going to be a continued process. And I've talked to a couple people up there, and it's just going to be, that's going to be their life's work and their mission for a while. So
wherever you want to volunteer,
we got
there's
you.
Tons of places.
I promise
guys,
you, people
so
are in need.
And it's kind of like Bill started out talking about the importance of giving, and the monetary giving and how it just blesses you. So guys, I mean, this is a really good theme for us today. It just kind of piggybacked with both of what y'all were saying, and so I just liked how that just worked out.
I love it. I heard him in here. He was speaking some truth. You know what I mean? And so I'll step back and he can jump back. I needed that this morning. I needed to hear what he was talking about.
I know. I'll tell you what, let me pause. I need to do my break here and talk about Barry and Rebecca here for a moment. We just love them so much, sponsoring the program for a long time, full-time sponsors. I remind you again, we're looking for some sponsors if you want to jump on. We won't have veterans coming back until March, but I did talk to Jerry, and they're planning on coming back. So, but we do have a couple of spots. We'd love to bring some more sponsors on. If you would like to join us sponsoring One Street Over, we would love to bring you on. You can reach out to me, 615-594-7736, 615-594-7736, and we'll hook you up. But Barry and Rebecca, when you're talking about anything in real estate, there's so many questions. If you're just, getting started, you're thinking, I want to buy a home. How much can I qualify for? Make a call. Give Rebecca a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, and she'll start walking you through the process and tell you what you need to do to see how much home you can qualify for. If you've got property that you're wanting to downsize, we talk about Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She's specifically trained to help you understand all the nuances of that. You've got the marketer in her hubby, Barry, for 17 years, vice president of a media marketing company. That is priceless. I love going on their webpage and just looking at the pictures. There's a beautiful picture of a court. I'm not sure which courthouse. It's not here, but it's another court. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I guarantee you that's a picture it's from Franklin, Kentucky. It's in there in the label, but I guarantee you Barry took that with his drone. I don't have any doubt about it because it's got him written all over it. But people want drone footage. They want good photography and videography and walkthrough tours. And he can do all of that for you if you're trying to sell property. He is the broker here in Springfield. She is an agent up in White House. They combine those two offices to bring you a new branch in the Exit Tree. They are now Exit Prime Realty. They were with the Garden Gate team for many years, but they're all still part of the same team, just a brand new branch in the tree. So if you want to reach out to them, you can Google them, Barry Richards, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, and find out all kinds of unique things about them. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy.robertsoncounty.com. Or again, just give them a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always, please let them know U-Turn sent you. And so we got a few minutes here, guys. What else do y'all want to talk about?
I didn't say this. We're having an open house today at our office from 3 to 5. I have hot chocolate and just kind of a holiday thing. If you are interested in any of the stuff I was talking about, or just want to come by and learn more about the United Way,
Where's your office?
It is I love that. See, that set me up. That's beautiful. That's good. He's a veteran. You've trained him too. Yeah. 100 Fifth Avenue. We are right on the corner of 5th and Main in the 4-H building. We are in the basement side. You'll see there's parking in the back there. Our United Way sign is on the door. Can't miss us. And so you can call me if you're curious about where to go. 615-780-2401. That goes right to my cell, and we'll get you. But 3 to 5 hot chocolate has some probably. Catherine and Ace are working on it, so I know it'll be nice, and they'll have some little food and stuff. And so if you just want to come by and meet us, talk, anything you're interested in plugging in, it's like, I don't really know where to start. That's a great place to do. Or you're just kind of curious in general, or if you have a business or you're a volunteer or individual donor have ever worked with us, we'd love to have you today. So we try to get the word out as best we can, but if you're interested, 3 to 5 today.
And you come just off the downtown square, and it's
That's
always
it.
so
Just
pretty.
walk over.
It's our
Just
downtown
walk
square.
over.
Even though they're working on the courthouse, it's still beautiful downtown.
All the lights, everything's pretty. So
looks
that's all right.
very
I've
nice.
said my plug. I did my job there. So
You're funny.
yeah.
So Bill, inspire
Well,
us.
I had a
Come on.
thought a while ago. Back in March when we had this tornado, I think it was March, wasn't it?
December last year.
December of
Oh,
last year,
okay,
the one
okay.
that took out home.
Year before we had the windstorms in March.
The one where
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
out home and jewelers. I had a weather seminar. I brought a guy in from Weather Service in Nashville and had a weather seminar at the Senior Citizens Center. 48 hours later, had a tornado. And what we talked about was tornadoes. And we educated people on what to do and what they were and how they acted and all that. That was so neat. But a funny thing, and it's not funny, but people would say to me after that, it wasn't much TV coverage for Springfield, but it was Clarksville. And they said, well, the Weather Service didn't do it. Yeah, they came out here and they adjusted everything, and they inspected everything and declared. That's how they determine what
actually happened.
which tornado type it is, class 0, 1, 2, 3. But the thing is, I said, I look at it just the opposite. I look at it that God blessed us, and not saying He didn't bless somebody else, but it didn't. Everything was, like He said, it happened where people weren't hurt. Nobody was hurt or anything much. It was one little thing, I think. But there was a lot of tearing up stuff, but people weren't hurt.
Yeah.
So that didn't make the news like it did somewhere else where it did with all the people getting hurt. So that leaves us blessed people. Blessed people give. And, like he said, you don't know where to start sometimes. They're not going to drain you. They're not going to come in and say, we want all your money. We want everything you can do. Everybody has a little talent they can do things with. I can't make bookshelves, but my wife's son can make a bookshelf like there's nobody ever made one. But I'm not talented. I am talented in some other ways, and so it's up to me to use the talents that God has given me. And so
That's scriptural. Something about
Well,
being
it
the part
is.
of the body you were called to be.
very it is. I sort of say it sometimes like I'm not coming preachy, type thing. But
Come on.
Preach, brother.
the Bible fits in. It blends in with our life. There's Bible lessons there that we learn today. It was the same way 2,000 years ago. And I was talking Sunday morning, and I said, you don't want to become a TV junkie, news junkie, and all this news will just build chaos within you. You want to just stay away from that stuff and keep your mind free from it and pure from it. But if you start thinking about giving your talents, one say, well, I want to give 10% of my talent. No, that doesn't say that, Just give what you have. The lady that gave a mite, that's all she had. You just give out of your abundance and what you've been blessed with, whether it's sweeping the floor somewhere or money or whatever United Way has for you, there's something for everybody. And when you get into that heart type of thing, you're going to come home feeling good, and you're going to have that peace that passes all understanding that the Bible talks about. And you, up until then, you go, I don't understand that. Well, once you start doing that and you being a giver and don't care what anybody knows about you or not of doing this, you don't make yourself a spectacle, but you just go because your heart says to go and do things and volunteer and give money and give your time. It just builds up and you become a much better person. You really do. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with how much money you got. And like I said, you can have cancer and be terminal cancer and still be blessed and still be at peace. It's just, you don't know what I'm talking about if you've never experienced it. Yeah. But when you start giving, you're going to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's just a great avenue rather than some XYZ company I've never heard of before. And I don't know, I gave them to them on a street corner, but I don't know if they're keeping the money themselves or what. You don't know. United Way, and it's just, I can't say enough, about giving, and because it is a blessing to each person that gives in whatever area they're giving in.
I love
Take
it.
Bill on the campaign trail with me.
I was
We'll
gonna
raise
say.
some money together.
I was
He
gonna
said
say.
it better than I could, and
love it.
you know, one of the prayers I pray a lot is, you know, God, use my hands, my feet, my talents, you know, for to serve you today. And I think that sums it up. And I think a therapist will tell you, if you want to get out of the quickest way to get out of depression is go
Yes.
help somebody
Right.
else.
Yes.
And get out of your own space and go help others. And then what
People
he
don't
says,
realize
yeah.
why they get into themselves. They just give me more, and you can't get enough, you know.
Yeah.
And the therapist will tell you that, you know.
Yeah.
Once you, and it's simple, doesn't cost you anything to volunteer.
Yeah. Just give
You know,
yourself.
if
just
you don't have
give it
any money,
away.
don't worry about it. Volunteer, do
Volunteer.
things
You've
for
got
people.
something you can do. I heard Chrissy McClellan said one time. I heard her say. She said, "Always seek to be the most generous person in the room.
That's a good term.
Always
I love
seek to be
that.
the most generous
Yeah.
person in the room." And I thought, man, that's good. That's really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. But you know, this time of this season of giving, man, get started, and
Mm-hmm.
you won't want to quit.
You won't. It's
So,
addictive.
Yeah, United Way can point you in the
Absolutely,
right
we'd
direction.
love to help you. And if you never, and I promise you, there's a skill we all have. Like he said, I can't build a bookshelf either, but I do have skills that I can do to help others. And so we'll help you find that and apply that in the best way possible.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go, folks. I love it. This is fun today,
Yeah,
guys.
I love it.
Oh,
Anytime,
it's
Catherine,
man.
I said hello.
I sure will.
And or what's the plan next week? Are y'all coming back next week?
I will have
Close
to
to
refer
Christmas.
back. Yes, kids are still in school, so I'm still
Yeah,
on
you're
the
still
streets.
around, so
Yeah,
I'll be around
yeah,
next week. I'll be
yeah.
taking some time off the week of Christmas. I'll be here all next week. I mean, I'll be off, Christmas Day. My husband's having a little heart. He's got atrial flutter. They think they're going to actually fix it this time, and so he's having a procedure on the 23rd. So Lee Marie's going to so prayers for that, y'all. But Lee Marie's going to fill on me for that day and all that. But I'll be taking a little time off, during school, but with school out. But we'll be here. So I'll maybe give you a call again, Bill. I haven't had a chance to
Sure.
visit with Bill in a while. So, and tomorrow we got Jack Martin coming in. He just got back from Ireland.
Oh,
So
he's
it's
great.
always
Listen,
fun
yeah,
listening
he's-
to him, and I love it when he just gets back from being in his homeland. I'm trying to get his.
I like listening to him.
He's
His
fun.
accent.
His grandson is in my audio video class, and I'm trying so hard to talk Austin into interviewing his grandfather on camera. I said, "Do you have any idea what a treasure that would be for
Yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
in 20 years?" I ain't doing this video, and I was like, "He doesn't like to get in front of the camera." But I'm like, "It'll just be you and your granddaddy. Nobody else has to see it." But I said, "Let's do this." I said, "It would be so," because we've got the facility to do it. And I mean, because his grandfather, I know we're out of time, but his grandfather immigrated because of the troubles in Ireland. That's an incredible story.
I've heard him tell about that.
Yeah. And so, and his daddy was just a little boy, whenever they immigrated. So I was like, man, y'all got an interesting family story. And here you are in this recording facility. Come on, Austin. He's going, stop it, Miss Vivio.
It's worth its weight in gold if he had that 20 years. So
know,
I would
I
give anything to
know.
have had that with my grandparents.
Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play this for him and say,
Yeah.
see, it's not
Yeah.
just me, Austin.
You're right.
You need
Right.
to-
He may know it now, but like
He
you said,
would
20
love
years
it.
from now, it would be the most
yeah.
treasured thing he had.
It'd be neat to have something
Yeah.
regularly like that. Have
Yeah.
somebody come in and interview their
Yeah.
grandfather, grandmother, whatever,
Well,
and
maybe we'll
for
do that. at
posterity,
school.
for
Giving you
historical.
content here.
That's a great idea. at
Do it once a month or
school.
once a week or something.
Oh, offer that up for the kiddos. Oh, I'm doing it. I love y'all. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.
He spoke the world into existence.